Hey guys, I'm going to be testing the hardware for Xpert's Glowfall, and just thought I'd show you guys the procedure I go through. By the way, that noise you're hearing in the background is the continued torture test on the waterfall here. Just churning away. And I'll just show you how I set up the hardware. It's no big deal. Before I liquid cool, I always test everything on air. I use the stock Intel heatsink so I can get a baseline to see how much improvement we're getting. It's always a good idea to take a close look at the pins when a board is new. Sometimes they arrive with bent pins. My skull trail arrived with 2 bent pins and a broken pin when I first got it. So even a $700 board can arrive damaged. Okay. I know all you guys already know this stuff, but handle the CPU from the edges so your finger oil does not get on the gold pads, because that will make a little tiny electrical barrier between them. Also try and keep your hands off the internal heatsink. Keep it clean. So, mount the CPU. This is a no-brainer. These things just pop on. So 1366 socket is rectangular, so it only lines up one way. I like to go diagonal, and I like to support the board right by the hole with my fingertips, because otherwise you could be flexing the board as you're trying to install the heatsink. The heatsink is installed. Okay. You want to get that over to the header appropriate to it, which is a 4-pin header. Next thing I do is plop the board onto the, I like to use a Lian Li. I like to use this little Lian Li motherboard. The only thing that's always the same from build to build is my lucky screwdriver. I use my lucky screwdriver to put the screws in every time. Lucky screwdriver has never failed me. Should be obvious why you test everything first, but a lot of people get excited, they get their new gear, they slap everything on it, put all their water coolers on it and stuff, and then they plug in the board and they get the dreaded FF code and freak out. And that would be because they don't know whether the board was good from the get-go or bad. Or see, at least if you test it with air and then you liquid cool it and it doesn't work, you know you've screwed something up. This board is not getting chipset cooling, so that's one less worry. And even just putting on the CPU cooler, you know, sometimes it is possible to be in contact with something like a capacitor or something and actually short the board up. Get the RAM in here. We're using Corsair XMS3. This is CL7 RAM. eVGA boards, you put everything into the light gray slots if you're running triple channel, which is a triple channel kit. I like Corsair RAM because I've never ever had any trouble with Corsair RAM lighting off, even high voltage Corsair RAM. So, unlike OCZ and some other RAMs which I had to tinker with to get them to light off. This is usually a proven winner. I also like G-Skill a lot. G-Skill is awesome. Awesome brand. I did not read the manual. I know on my DFI board it was funny when I put the card in the slot closest to the CPU, which I do 99 times out of 100, it didn't work, so I had to put it in the middle and it worked. It was odd, but we'll find out. We will soon see. Okay. Go ahead and get the voltage hooked up here. Corsair HX 1000. I don't think we're going to have any issues with having enough voltage. What do you guys think? Okay. Two 6 pins. If you don't plug in your video card, sometimes you'll get errors, so that's always a good troubleshooting spot. Make sure everything's seated properly in the slots and that everything is the way it's supposed to be. Put in an 8-pin EPS, 24-pin motherboard power. At this point, we can light off the board and see it in BIOS, which is what I like to do before I even get started with putting peripherals on it. Because if you put on the hard drive, optical drive, the NIC card, the sound card, everything else, and then it doesn't fire off, you'll be like, well, which part is it? So fewer parts the better, really. This is a very nice board. It's probably going to fire right up. No issues. You never know. Okay, I got my, turn this around for us so we can see. Got my 24-inch Asus here. Should be a good strong test for the card, right? Fire up all its RAM to fill that big screen full of pixels. Using my Deck Legend. Hell of a keyboard. Got Death Adder. So be set up with the kind of stuff that someone might expect to see. Alright, at this point, make sure I've got my monitor plugged in. And get that fired up. Get it warming up. Okay, good. Straight DVI to DVI. There it is. Okay. Getting it right. Yep. We got a good connection there. Turn on the power supply. Okay. I want to show you eVGA. There's a little blue LED that says your board's powered up. It should mean you're good to rock. Okay, over here we have the power and reset switches. Quite handy for this kind of an operation. Let's see what happens. Okay. It's just the fan running on its cord. X58 boards will start, and then stop, and then start up again. And here's the postcodes, okay? We went past the Dread FF. Okay, we're already into initializing the video card. We've gone past that. Now we should be getting a screen right now. I just heard the beep. There it is, folks. Okay, we want to hit delete to get into setup. Get the board over here. I can get at it. Okay, let's see what kind of temps we're getting and make sure everything's cool. It's the first thing I like to do. Jump down to PC health status. Okay. Okay, that's with your Intel stock cooler. And that is